Let's talk about, of course, parenthood and parenting a child with ADHD, which can be challenging if you're not well equipped and knowledgeable on how to help your child handle the condition. Now, to help spread awareness, Professor Renata Schoeman, a psychiatrist in Cape Town, has come together with author Fictional and illustrator David Expresso to create a colourful children's book about the adventures of a child with ADHD.
Brilliant.
Education is so important, firstly to give people hope, and secondly to give people skills to be able to create a better future for themselves. And so often we find that if children do not have a good foundation in terms of education, they end up not completing their school, and if you do not complete your education, your job prospects later is so much less.
To help children understand their diagnosis and how to cope with it, Professor Schoeman and Fictional wrote the book, All of These Things Are Important to Me.
So the first part of the book is telling the story of Z, our young protagonist, which is a girl with ADHD, and all her adventures during the day, from getting ready from school, being in trouble, using public transport, but also really highlighting her strengths, her honesty, her energy, her humor, and to bring her alive and so that children can associate with her. The purpose of the book is really to create awareness for ADHD, but also to remove stigma in the community. There's so many communities, especially in the underprivileged areas, which do not have access to mental health services and do not understand perhaps what is ADHD, where kids are then labelled as lazy, naughty, or just plain stupid. So we wrote this book, and the idea is then that a teacher or parent or any healthcare provider reads the story with a child and then also is empowered with the academic content at the back of the book to answer questions the child might have, but also to empower yourself as an adult working with a child.
Written in 5 South African languages, the story is sensitively brought to life through the illustrations of David Expresso.
Illustrating this book, I really focused on simplification. The text was written in the form of a poem, so it was quite difficult to turn into a visual narrative, and the only way I could really do it is by taking the text and simplifying it as much as possible and just focusing on the core moments of the poem. The art style I chose for this book is based on my personal work as well. I often work in fantastical and imaginary style. With this one, I wanted to keep it quite simple, keep the lines loose and childlike to kind of evoke that sense of wonder and imagination.
So some of the challenges that a child or an adult with ADHD faces include academic or occupational difficulties. So if we talk about academic difficulties, they might be struggling in a big classroom where there's a lot of distractions. The other thing is they often drift off in classrooms and they're not necessarily naughty or talkative, and they are just quietly disappearing in the cracks, and they miss out on this learning opportunities. And then they're often difficulty with reading and writing as well, and then can be labelled as maybe not a child with a lot of potential.
Regarding to the style the book was done in, it's all in black and white, but with the specific parts of it is yellow, and the yellow is symbolic of the character's ADHD. And we wanted to make the color positive and happy, because to show that the normal world, normal in quotation marks, is black and white, while Z, which is the main character, is different, and actually different in a positive way. So in that way, it's quite a simple but effective way to symbolize the positivity behind her mental condition.
So originally when we wrote the book, we thought it's for primary school kids. That was our original positioning. But we had tremendous feedback from teenagers, students, young adults that's buying this book and say, but now for the first time they really can associate with the character and they can really explain to their friends. So this book has a broader readership than only primary school.
Proceeds from the book are donated to a foundation for early detection of mental health issues among children in underprivileged areas.